Hey everyone, and welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that's pretty relevant to, well, us.
To podcasts.
Yeah, or maybe more accurately, to the future of podcasts.
Sounds ominous. What exactly are we diving into?
Well, we've got this text file, really straightforward title, AI Podcasts, bad.txt.
Kitschy.
Right, straight to the point. And, the whole thing kind of reads like, someone ranting about, like, their anxieties about AI and podcasts, which, honestly, fair.
I mean, AI is everywhere these days. It's bound to shake things up.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're going to unpack today, this whole idea of AI podcasts. Are they like the slippery slope to internet brain rot?
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
All right, so the text file kicks off, and this is interesting, not by immediately jumping on AI. It starts by, like, critiquing the current podcast scene, the traditional stuff.
Interesting. Like what kind of critiques?
They're saying there's just too much noise, right? Like, too many podcasts, all covering the same ground, same format, and of course,
Don't tell me. Ads.
bingo. Specifically calling out, and I quote, the BetterHelp ad. Like the unofficial sponsor of every podcast out there.
Ah, yes. The BetterHelp ad. Can't escape it. But seriously, is this a fair criticism of podcasts, though?
That's a good question. What do you think? Is this like a legitimate take on the state of podcasts?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely some truth to it. Like, it's not just podcasts, right? It's content creation in general. Everyone's fighting for eyeballs, for attention, and it's easy to just, like, fall back on what's worked before.
Yeah, I got to get those sponsorships. Got to pay the bills.
Exactly. So I get where this person's coming from. It's easy to get cynical when you see so much of the same stuff, and the ads, well, they can be a bit much sometimes.
Yeah, it's like formulaic almost. But okay, so we've got this critique of the traditional podcasting world, and then enter AI.
Dun, dun, dun.
Right. The source is basically arguing that AI is like throwing gasoline on this fire, making it even easier to just churn out low-effort content.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a concern. I mean, look, AI podcasting could open up a lot of possibilities.
Right.
But the flip side is it can also lead to a deluge of, well, let's be honest, not so great content. And that's where this whole slop concept comes in.
Okay, yeah. Slop, the word keeps popping up in this text file. What exactly do they mean by that? Paint us a picture.
Slop is basically content that's just like empty calories. It might be flashy, it might grab your attention, but there's no real substance underneath. Like, think poorly researched, sensationalized, maybe even like straight up misleading stuff.
The junk food of the internet.
Exactly. Might taste good in the moment, but it doesn't nourish you, doesn't really add anything of value. And that brings us to our, let's call him poster child for slop.
Oh, yeah. Got to talk about pyrocynical.
Right. The source brings up this YouTuber, Pyrocynical, who they claim is already knee-deep in this slop territory. Their argument is AI would just give him and others like him even more tools to pump out this kind of content.
That's interesting. But couldn't you also argue that AI could actually help someone like Pyrocynical, improve? Like AI could fact check his claims, push him to do better research, maybe even help with the production quality?
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. AI tools could definitely be used that way. Imagine like AI fact-checking plugins, suggestions for alternative perspectives, even help with scripting and editing. But here's the catch. The worry is that these tools will mostly be used to just pump out more content, not necessarily better content.
Oh, I see. So quantity over quality.
Exactly. It's the classic dilemma with new tech, right? It's a tool that can be used for good or, well, not so good.
So we're looking at a future where the internet is just like this sea of AI-generated slop. The source even throws out a date saying by 2030, the internet is going to be completely overrun. Do you think that's realistic?
Well, 2030, who knows? But the core concern, I think, is valid. Like, as AI becomes more and more accessible, we really do need to think about how it could amplify the problems we're already seeing online.
It's not just about AI podcasts then, right? It's about the whole content creation landscape, the future of the internet, basically. So what does all this mean for us, the listeners, the creators?
It means we have a responsibility on both sides. As listeners, we need to be more discerning. We can choose to support the creators who are putting out quality stuff, even if it means wading through a bit more of that slop to find it.
And for creators.
For creators, it's about resisting that temptation to just use AI as a shortcut to like churn out more. It's about asking, am I adding something valuable here? Am I using this powerful tool responsibly?
Right. Are we adding to the conversation or just to the noise?
Exactly. Because nobody wants to live in a world where the internet is just one giant steaming pile of,
Yeah, no one wants that.
Yeah.
So it really is on all of us creators and listeners to shape what the internet becomes. And it starts with being mindful of the tools we use and the choices we make. So yeah, food for thought, everyone. That's our deep dive for today. Thanks for tuning in.